Two of the hottest teams in American pro soccer collide on a Saturday night in July here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Highmark Stadium is the site here on ESPN Plus as Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC hosts Charleston Battery. It's a collision of two old guard USL teams, if you will. We're happy to bring it to you. 2 versus 3 in the Eastern Conference. I'm Matt Geica alongside Paul Child. The folks are pouring into Highmark Stadium. The Hounds are hot. They're a big story here in town, and Paul, we're really looking forward to this one.
No, it should be a real exciting game. Two of the top teams, probably a playoff contention, both of them, and both looking to get into first place. So I'm sure this is going to be a good game.
First place definitely within reach for both teams. Let's take a look at those standings in the East a little bit closer. Yes, you see FC Cincinnati up there, a 7-point lead on Pittsburgh and 9 on Charleston. But, Paul, games in hand for both of these teams. Pittsburgh especially, they're tied for the fewest games played in the East. So a chance now for the Hounds and the Battery to make up some ground.
Oh, no, definitely. This is a great opportunity for the start of the second half of the season, really, for the Hounds to get going on a great note. And obviously Charleston want to try and stop that. But Hounds have been off for 12 days, so, you know, looking good, and it's a home game for Pittsburgh, so it should be good.
Yeah, we say good form. The Hounds, though, will have a challenge to get back to it with the bye week, them coming off of it. Here you see their results at home, though. They're unbeaten at 6 overall, but here at home, just 1 goal allowed. It's amazing at this stage of the season, halfway through. And as an added benefit, they'll have 9 of their final 15 and 5 of their next 7 at home here at Highmark.
No, that's a big plus for them, and you can see they've really started getting on the scoreboard, which is really nice to see. They started off a little bit sluggish, not scoring many goals, but not giving any away, which we obviously can see right here. But this should be a real tight game. These teams are very evenly matched, I would imagine. 3
goals and 2 goals for Pittsburgh in their last 2 home matches. So yeah, getting the offense figured out here, as they have not conceded in 5 straight. So obviously impossible to lose when you do that. As for Charleston, a really strong week at home. They took down Indy and then defeated the defending champions Louisville City FC. Here's Neville Hackshaw's game-winning goal, a 2-1 victory there. Much like the Hounds, they're unbeaten in 6. And with Charleston, Paul, they always seem to be competitive, don't they?
No, they always have been, and they've always had a real good matchup, especially with the Hounds. And, you know, I'm sure with Bob Lilly when he was with Rochester as well, because they're very similar defensive-wise, and they do like to, you know, defend before they attack and make sure that nobody's going to get any goals on them. So it'll be good to see who breaks out here and starts scoring goals, because both teams are doing really well right now, especially Charleston with 2 wins in 2 matches.
And Charleston with a strong mark against the best of the Eastern Conference. Bob Lilly against Mike Anhauser, 2 USL Hall of Famers behind the bench. So tactically, it's going to be tight. We'll see who breaks through tonight in Pittsburgh on ESPN+.
Now, where does it hurt the most when you have it all the way straight?
Down
in there.
It started really hurting, and it would really hurt if I like stood on it.
It's a little patellar tendonitis, or jumper's knee is the other thing.
How's that feel?
It feels better.
Call 412 Doctors for a same-day appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
It's a new era unleashed at Highmark Stadium, and the Riverhounds are battling for first place in the Eastern Conference. It's Faith and Family Night, presented to you by Cornerstone TV and K-Love, when the Richmond Kickers come to town August 1st for a special Wednesday matchup with a 7 p.m. kickoff.
Nice touch, Parks.
Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Purchase your tickets at riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
Parks stuck the landing.
All right, that's enough, you two. Don't paint your brother. No, you can't eat the clay. What can I say? Moms just know. I'm Christine Sorensen, and as a mom, I know parents know a lot. But for the few things we don't know, there's Kidsburg, your go-to resource for all the great things in our area for kids and families. Everything from kid-friendly events, creative learning, and help for parents. It's every Wednesday on KDKA TV, emailed to your inbox and online at kidsburg.org.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
It's black and gold versus black and gold here. Two teams trending up, two teams dress alike, at least at home, and two teams right near the top of the Eastern Conference. This is the USL on ESPN+. I am Matt Geica. Paul Child is alongside. And here we go between Charleston and Pittsburgh. This matchup and this rivalry continues on. Charleston throws out a 3-4-3 for Coach Mike Anhauser. Joseph Kuzminski is between the six. Archer, Mueller, the captain, and Hackshaw, a goal scorer last week, across the back. O'Brien Woodbine, Jamaican national playmaker, on the right flank of the midfield. Angelo Kelly, Tabrian Anunga, and Jay Bolt will round out the middle of the park. And then up at the top, Atula Guerra, one shy of the goal-scoring lead in the USL. He's got 10. He'll be the key there for that battery attack. As for the Riverhounds, they have an 8-goal man, and Nico Brett at the top with Francois and Kerr on his flanks. In the midfield, Vunky Azil and Forbes will anchor it, and then Dover and Lee on the outsides, and Big Joe Greenspans in the middle of the back line. Dan Lind once again gets the start. Dan Lind has 9 shutouts, Paul Child. He's one shy of the Riverhounds single-season record, and we're only halfway through the season.
No, he's done really well when he came in. If you remember, he came in because of an injured goalkeeper in the beginning and hasn't looked back since and done a great job for the Hounds.
Right, yeah, Kyle Morton was splitting time with Dan Lind right at the start, but then Morton injured his knee. He's out, presumably for the rest of the season. So it's Dan Lind's goal, and the 24-year-old from the Rochester, New York area has held it down. And if you are a fan of Pittsburgh area soccer, you remember Dan Lind and what he did up at the University of Pittsburgh, where he's the Panthers' all-time leader in minutes played. He did quite well there and a fine start to his pro career. 7 goals against, 28 saves. A good percentage. And Lind had to come up big in that last match the Hounds played against Ottawa, a stoppage time chance that would have tied it. So even though the Hounds have played so well defensively, insulating their keepers, there have been moments, as there always are, where the guy in the contrast jersey has to come up big. So here we go. Hounds in the black and gold. Charleston Battery in the white with black. Two teams trying to climb up and challenge FC Cincinnati for the top spot. Hugh Roberts handled it here on the near side. He had the only goal in that 1-0 win against Ottawa. Greenspan wants to switch it. Ray Lee keeps right at the touch line. Brett on the chase, but it's slugged up and out by Leland Archer. And Charleston back.
Riverhounds getting the throw in there, Matt, and just taking a lot of time there at the beginning just to kind of like suss what's going on, and just sent it out wide, and Lee just coming up with a good header back in. But now Hounds in Charleston's end and trying to put pressure on, which they will probably try and do right now down the wing.
Dover wanting to get around Jay Bolt, and ends up being a foul committed or called against Jordan Dover. Eric Tattersall's the head referee. Gregory Irwin, Ryan Trombetta are on the lines.
And Hackshaw is down there. I didn't see what happened there, but obviously he had a collision with somebody, and I don't know, he's holding his back. I'm thinking maybe when he hit the turf after jumping for that head ball.
Charleston plays on the natural surface down at MUSC Health Stadium. One of the finest surfaces I always hear in all of USL and all of American pro soccer. Here in Pittsburgh, it's a harder surface, no doubt. And it's also a tighter pitch, too. So less ground to cover, and the Hounds have embraced that by putting pressure on opponents. Here you see 3 men around the ball, make it 4, as Kerr helps win it. And here's Canardo Forbes coming out of the pack with the ball.
And there's a quick break again, trying to get it down the flanks, and Nico Brett with the ball.
Look for the Hounds to push on the counter because Charleston's so organized when they get back. That's what Bob Lilly was telling me before today's match. He said the Hounds will have to take some risks if they want to score against this Charleston team.
Yeah, they get back behind the ball really quick, as we've just seen right in the beginning of the game. As soon as they lose possession, they're jumping and getting really deep straight away and having numbers up.
Right on through to Cristiano Francois, who's had a great season here for the Hounds. He put it through to the middle, and Taylor Mueller with the clear. Cristiano Francois was awesome in that final week before the break. Again, Mueller takes care of business for Charleston. Charleston Battery 2-2-5 on the road, so they've been content to get that point more often than not. And the Hounds have lost just once on the home surface, 5-1-3. Just the 1 goal allowed to Nashville. And the Hounds haven't lost since June started. So it's been a while since they've tasted defeat.
Yeah, I'm noticing straight away they're really closing down Charleston, as you can see. As soon as they get possession of the ball, you're seeing 1, even 2, sometimes 3 players going down there and making it very difficult for them to knock it and find somebody open.
Well, it shouldn't be a question of energy for Pittsburgh. Haven't played a match since 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah, so
12 days off. It's their longest break of the season. Gets more busy in the second half. But fortunately for Pittsburgh, 9 of the final 15 are at home. And 5 of the next 7, in fact, including this one, are right here. So they've done well on the road. Well, that's an understatement. 4-0-4. They haven't lost on the road.
Yeah, they did done really well when they go away, and make it very difficult for teams to get penetrate and get behind them and score goals, and then they usually get a counter-attack and score, and that's what they've done in the last 2 or 3 games.
Kerr got his leg around Kotaro Higashi to punch that one up the touchline.
Ball's going out.
Now Roberts is in pursuit here. It'll be a goal kick Pittsburgh as Roberts just let it go. Hugh Roberts scored his 4th pro goal at Ottawa off of a regroup after a corner kick. Todd Pratzner, his fellow defender, had the assist on that. A couple of fine volleys. That's all they needed for the 1-0 win.
That's what you need sometimes, is for the defenders to come through, for sure. You know, you'd like to see everybody on the team scoring, not just certain individuals, because then really takes the pressure off all the players, you know, when you know you've got somebody that can score. So it's good to see the defenders getting up there and getting a goal.
Charleston's conceded the 4th fewest goals in the Eastern Conference. The Hounds have allowed 7 all year, 7 in the first half. They have more shutouts, 12, than goals allowed, 7, and they're on pace to set the league all-time record for fewest goals allowed on a per-game basis. That was set by Bob Lilly's 2015 Rochester Rhinos, so there is a common theme as Greenspan is under some duress here, and stepping up to pressure was Jay Bolt of Charleston. Now the Hounds do finagle it up the touchline, but it was out here. Or pardon me, a foul called. Hackshaw will have the restart for Charleston. It's 1 foul apiece in the early going. Naveal Hackshaw, 22-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago, 3rd-year battery.
Boy, that's a long, wide.
An impressive ball from side to side here, but Francois helped pry it loose. Here come the Hounds on the counter-attack. Brett with a couple of bounces, can't command it.
Yeah, Brett seems to be ending up a little bit on the going out wide a little bit more than normal, just in this first, 5 or 6 minutes, and you can see now he's switched back into the middle of the park, where that's where he's dangerous when he gets inside that box.
Nico Brett listed at the top of the formation here, but we've seen Kevin Kerr switch sides. We've seen Francois go from right to left. In fact, he scored the beautiful goal against North Carolina on the 4th of July on that left side, even though he has played both flanks.
Yeah, those both guys you'll see during the game as well. They'll tend to switch, but you want to try and keep Nico Brett in that box in the center, because he's so quick and dangerous in there, and looks for those real hard low crosses coming in from wide.
Nico Brett listed at 5'8". Romeo Parks, 6'3". He's on the sideline to start. The last time that we saw this threesome in the attack for the Hounds, Kevin Kerr was subbed out for Romeo Parks in the second half, so that could be an option for Lilly here, as Bernardo Forbes is bumped and fouled, as it turned out, by Anunga. And the quick restart for Forbes, who appears to be getting more and more comfortable here in Pittsburgh. Played in Rochester for several years under Lilly, so it's the same system. Kerr rises up, can't beat Hackshaw, but here is Dover to help out. Volley clear by Kelly of Charleston.
Lee Ray making a run there down the left flank, and obviously Thomas couldn't get the ball to him, but it was a good chance to break down the left side.
There's Greenspan slowing the pace down a little bit. And here you see Charleston, 3 in the back, and then the 2 wingers, like we see with Pittsburgh, do help out to make it a 5-man line. Hackshaw with a missed kick, but he takes care of the second try. Forbes keeps in the attacking third, slides it to Kevin Kerr. He creates some magic. Kevin Kerr off to Ray Lee, puts the cross in. Kuzminski punched it right into traffic, and Kerr unable to gather. Now headed right back through to Kuzminski, who flags it down with the right hand.
Yeah, Kerr looked like he was gonna have a go there with his head, and then saw the player that was no doubt going to clear it with his boot, so he kind of got out of there pretty quickly, as you can see right there.
Kevin Kerr with the ball in his foot at the edge of the area. You just expect something to happen. He is in the top 15 in the USL in chances created.
I thought he was going to take a shot there with his left foot, to be honest with you, Matt, and he didn't. He just knocked it out wide to Lee, where normally, you know, he'll just surprise everybody and take a real quick, hard shot and low back to the far post. 2 goals and 4 assists for the 6th-year Riverhound, Kevin Kerr, climbing up the Hounds' all-time appearance list, all-time minutes list. He's been a tireless worker now at age 29 out of Scotland. Flag up, it's into touch. Hound's going to throw. 2 Hall of Fame coaches in Bob Lilly and Mike Anhauser. Anhauser took over the Battery in 2005. This is Lilly's first season in Pittsburgh, but his 18th as a pro coach. Both are champions in this league. Charleston's actually tied with the Richmond Kickers for the longest tenured American pro team. 1993, the Battery were established. Yeah, they've been around a long time.
Like I said, they always seem to be in it. They won the championship a few years back, 2012.
Yeah, they've never been really down and way out. I think they've, I would be surprised if they haven't made the playoffs every season.
Francois in a battle here with Kelly. They both rise. Kelly wins it. Francois is going to put some pressure there on Leland Archer, but Archer got rid of it in a hurry. Here's Kuzminski, who has 6 clean sheets in 13 appearances. Greenspan collided there at the top of the Charleston formation with Atula Guerra, 30 years old, 37 caps for Trinidad and Tobago. And this is Guerra's 3rd season in Charleston. 10 goals, 1 back. The USL leader for the Golden Boot. Tops in the East is Guerra.
Yeah, they keep knocking these high balls into the middle when they do get it, and Greenspan's been doing his usual job of winning pretty much anything that comes in the air or, you know, is driven in there. He's done a real good job this year of just winning everything and making it very difficult for forwards to really get a chance.
The Hounds have not been scored on with Joe Greenspan in the game. Jay Bolt, though, tries to make something of that. Greenspan got in the way and cleared. Corner for Charleston there first. Yes, Greenspan played the first 2 matches, then was out with a calf injury. Ever since he's been back in, though, 5 straight matches, no goals allowed for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's a great attribute to the team there because he's just such a big figure and makes it very, very hard for anybody to get by him, take shots past him.
Gordon Wild, 22-year-old, puts it toward the front post, and Toby Adewale cleaned it up. Francois knocks it into the stands. Look out for Gordon Wild, number 15. He hit the crossbar in the recent matchup between these 2 teams. That was the best chance for either side. He's on loan from Atlanta of MLS. A lot of talent, 6 goals, 3 assists. Former Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year at the University of Maryland, Gordon Wild. He and Guerra have been a lethal combination. Now it's Hackshaw, well up the pitch, as you often see him, despite being a central defender at times. Well, that's a assigned position, but he gets way up. As you see right now, not a lot of players back for Charleston.
No. This is where the Hounds could take advantage right here.
And here is Francois. He might be able to do it. Is Brett onside? He
will
be. Brett's going to strike and misfire on the volley. But the flag is up. Delayed flag, pardon me. I thought we would see an offside there. It appeared to be
He seemed to be a yard in front of him, but I thought, you know, the referee, I mean, where we are, it could have been very, very close, and I'm sure it was. But that's where that rule drives you crazy, where they have to, you have to touch it before they call it, you know, so.
And you see Bob Lilly yelling instructions at Francois. It's funny, I was talking to Bob about Cristiano this afternoon, and he said, yeah, we love the work rate. It's just decisions sometimes. We have to work on that. And, well, here's Forbes getting overtaken by Guerra. Guerra's going to send Woodbine into the corner with it. Woodbine, the attempted cross. Lee blocked it. Corner kick battery.
Lee did well there. He realized he couldn't let that ball get across. They had numbers up a little bit there. I think they had 2-3 players that were closing in the box.
One of the few times that you'll see Forbes get dispossessed so cleanly, and then O'Brien Woodbine looking for a target. He had 3 men in the area. Here's Gordon Wild again with the left foot. Sending it, and Lynn punches it high. Not out of danger yet. Nodded right back toward the 6. Greenspan comes in with that huge frame, and Brett pushed it away. Now a volley shot coming on from Nunga, and Lind gobbles it up.
Yeah, not much trouble for Lynn there. He didn't really catch a hold of that, and he was trying to rush his shot because obviously he was getting closed down, so made him hit it sooner than he needed to get power.
Well, we've officially made it to the 500-minute mark without a goal against the Riverhounds. And here's the most recent chance for the Battery off the corner kick. Here's Anunga getting a swing. Brian Anunga, 21 years old. Second year with the Battery, though, already. Came over from his native Cameroon at a very young age. Here's Hugh Roberts along the ground to Dover. Riverhounds and Battery both unbeaten in 6. The first one appears crucial tonight.
Just trying to keep possession right now. I'm sure Bob said, hey, don't just give it away. And
Kerr leaning back.
Did a great job there.
Questionable ball. Yes, he nearly kept it in Hounds possession. It was almost 50-50 split in possession the last time these teams met.
Yeah, they're matching up really good. I mean, there's not many players that you've got to really work hard, Matt, to get open here. And it's usually, as you can see, going across the back, and then it's going out wide, and then coming back to the defenders again, because there's just nothing on at the moment for players to find space.
The voices you hear tonight, mine, Matt Geica, Paul Child is with me.
Nice ball there.
Here's Kerr sliding it through.
Great
Takes
ball.
the back heel from Nico Brett. Kerr wants to drive it through, and it's on the money to Francois. Pulling, and lets it go.
Oh! What a great shot as usual from him. And
Dover
here's a second
right through.
chance.
It's not over yet. Kerr, the little flick, and now Brett again tries the back heel. This time it's intercepted. Here comes Roberts. He thought he won a foul, and he did. Hugh Roberts asserting himself.
Kerr very unselfish there. I thought Kerr was going to have a crack with his left foot, but then he sent it over to Francois, and we know he does really well here. Cuts back inside, fakes one, and then rockets it, and just off the crossbar.
Francois scored a beauty the last time we were here on the 4th of July, right before the half. It was right before 11 o'clock p.m. after a huge lightning delay, nearly 3 hours. But Francois' goal held up as the winner. He just appears to be gaining strength and confidence as the season goes.
Oh, definitely, and he's dangerous all the time in there. That's a
Here's
great
Kerr's
ball.
Kick. Oh, it was right through, maybe a foot over the head of Roberts. It slides out. Did it get a touch from someone else? It appears not. It's going to go over to Charleston.
I think, I don't know what happened to Roberts there. He went down really strange, and I didn't see anybody around him, and the referee was watching it, but...
he appeared to mistime his jump almost, because I thought he could have reached that ball. It was a good one, as you called. And it will be a throw.
And we know they always usually are good for Kerr, because he hits them real hard and low, and they're driven, you know, and it's great when you're a forward to try and get on, you know, just a deflection. That's all you need is redirect the ball or a deflection, and the ball's got to be coming really strong to do that.
The Riverhounds still do not have a goal off of a set piece. And they've scored every last one of them this season, all 21, inside the box.
That's hard to kind of believe, you know, but...
It is. We're still waiting on that long-range strike. Francois stands out because they haven't had too many like that where it's just a bullet of a shot that beats the keeper.
No.
And even that one was inside the 18 on the left side. Pitch you see right in front of you. Highmark Stadium is the site. The river you see behind. The pitch is Monongahela.
Great pressure from Francois there, causing them to miss.
Kerr puts it in for Brett, and he got the header, and then it deflected off of a battery defender and wide out for a corner. That was Leland Archer, almost put it in his own net.
That's exactly what I was just talking about. These driven balls in from Kerr. This is perfect for a centre forward. That you just want to get just a hair on it. You know, it doesn't matter. Just a little touch, and it just ricochet. Keeper's already beaten with those kind of crosses and heads.
It wouldn't have taken much of a header from Brett to get that one in. He almost got some help. Francois' corner. Hounds looking dangerous, but this time Hackshaw rises high to clear. So Pittsburgh gets a push at home now.
Whoop.
Lee will try for Brett. Kuzmitsky strong on the leap. So Nico Brett just a touch away from finishing a couple of these.
If it had been Parks, he might have got that one.
Maybe, yeah, you hate to say it. I was just highlighting the difference.
He's about 12 inches taller, that's why. So.
Yeah, it's more than a half-foot difference between the two of them. Both natives of Jamaica, as is Forbes, who just got that ball. Gave it to the Haitian Francois, but his touch for Kerr was not a good one, and it's intercepted. Taylor Mueller, 4th all-time in appearances in the history of the battery. Leland gave it up. Brett was right there in his face. Nico Brett so tenacious, he gets a lot of those turnovers, and that's how he creates much of his offense.
Yep.
Right on back to Forbes, through, but too far for Kerr, who gives a hand to Forbes nonetheless.
That was a great opportunity there. With a better pass ball, that would have been really good for Kerr, because he could have hit that on the volley. There was nobody even close to him within like 10 or 12 yards. It's a shame he couldn't get a more accurate pass.
I was watching Charleston's match against Louisville from last week, and there was some room on the flanks against Charleston. They will be biased toward the inside of the field. They want to defend tight.
And you can see right now, Matt, there's only 3 defenders in there as well. So, you know, that's going to create those chances down the flanks, gives you a ton more room. You just got to get the guys breaking at the right time.
Charleston's played the 3-4-3 for the majority of the season here. And the way the Riverhounds play, you could say they're playing 3 in the back too. It's just dependent on whether Dover and Lee are in a defensive posture. That'll make it a 5-man back line. Vunky Azil pushed it through. Vunky Azil, the rookie, Hounds leader in minutes, wins that duel with Kelly. And now the Hounds have a chance again. Francois trying to get by Kelly, played it square, bounces loose. Kerr couldn't reach out to get it, and the battery avoid a dangerous situation.
Yeah, they were lucky there. The defender really didn't get a good touch on that ball, and nearly deflected right to Kerr.
Higashi, he had a man. That was Guerra, but couldn't feed it through. Sliding tackle by Vunky Azil, who's hammered from behind, but no call. And now we'll see a handball call against Vunky Azil, who can't believe it.
Yeah, the fans are giving the referee some stick.
They are. Eric Tattersall, it appeared that it was an excessive bit of force applied by the Charleston defender. I want to say that was Anunga in the middle of the pitch, and it was. But play was allowed to continue, and Charleston ends up getting the benefit of the call. Kelly right back. Here's Archer. Off a body and right to Joe Greenspan.
Hounds have been really good at closing those players down at the back, and not everybody getting picked up and making it difficult for those defenders to find their Charlotte players.
Ooh, look at Kerr's move, a spinorama inside the touchline. Francois is going to have to get on his horse to find it, and he does.
We knew he would catch that.
He usually does. And now Ray Lee stepping, crossing, redirected, and Kuzmitsky just had to knock it out.
Defender deflection there again, and it's 2 kind of missed kicks that he's had, and one on his clearance out here, and that was nearly deadly for him.
We'll take a second look here. Off of Leland Archer and nearly into his own net. So that's twice that Archer's almost put it in his own goal. Charleston scored an own goal against itself against Louisville too this past week. Hounds play it short on the misdirection here. Charleston, well, they appeared to have it defended.
That's a corner kick, I think.
It looks like it should be. No, they're going to call a throw. Tattersall says that it was just nudged in by Jay Bolt over there on the far side, away from the end line. Spun right back in, though. Brett's got a half-open net, and it's deflected by the defender, Bolt, who got in the way to save the day. 3rd corner for the Hounds.
Yeah, Town's putting some pressure on here. They're tasting the blood, I think. It seems like that they're really making an effort, and really, I hope, you know, they're going to create something off one of these corners.
It should be a near side corner. Yeah, it will be. Francois was setting up all the way over there by the Monongahela River. It's a great volume of crosses for the Riverhounds. They're definitely giving their targets a shot in the box.
Got a great crowd tonight. This place is full, and it should be a great atmosphere. I'd like to see a goal soon, and then that would really turn up the heat.
The Hounds have done well, getting ahead in the first half lately. Right in for Greenspan. Oh my! Boy. He missed. He can't believe it either.
Holy smoke!
A perfect ball from Francois.
Yeah. And just hitting it in the direction he's running, and he was just probably about a yard or so to the right of the goalpost there. But if that had been anywhere on target, it would have been right in the back of the net.
Oh, he caught it so cleanly.
Yeah.
That might have ripped through the twine if it went in. Goodness, you can't ask for more from the trigger man out of the corner.
No.
Just the finish not quite there. And that's the first time we've seen Greenspan get on the end of one of those, really. Remember, he is back there, but it's usually been Hugh Roberts if a central defender was going to get up.
Yeah, he usually hangs around the far post as well, Matt, and comes in late, and if the ball's just right, he gets a shot off that way.
Bunky Azil got under that one, allows Archer the chance to head it out toward the midfield. Here's Guerra, lanky striker, rips it away from Bunky Azil. Ray Lee comes flying through, and yes, that will be a foul. Spinning Anunga to the pitch.
A little bit late there. But they're really closing down really quickly, and that's nice to see, because there's nothing more frustrating for players is when you know, every time you get an open and you're getting closed down right away and you have nowhere to go. It just makes it really hard for you.
As Dan Lynn sets up the goal kick, a reminder that Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com, and you can get free shipping on orders over $50. Well, it's been a scoreless opening 25 minutes, but plenty to look at here. Two teams that combined for 8 shots in their entire match last month down in Charleston. I have to believe we're past that by now. It feels like it, at least.
Yeah, it seems like. I think the Hounds have had at least 4 or 5, maybe even 6.
Plenty of opportunity. And even Charleston, on the corner kicks they've had, they've made it interesting, even though they've been a little bit on the back foot here in the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. The Hounds have had more possession and been more threatening.
Hackshaw, that was definitely out. You could call that from up here. One of the few times you can say that definitively on a close one. Dover with the throw. The former Wisconsin Green Bay product tosses it back to Roberts, sends it up toward the attacking third for Pittsburgh. Greenspan now with that little half volley on the short hop. Now Adewale. Toby Adewale getting back into the starting lineup. Todd Pratzner gets a seat on the bench tonight. The Hounds have one too many USL quality defenders at the moment to play everybody. Here's Nico Brett on the left side. Brett with the cut back over to Lee, and now Bunky Azil stepping up, lost control, and Higashi knocks it out.
Looked like he was trying to set himself up, wind up to get a shot, and just pushed it too far. That's a great ball down the sideline.
Bunky Azil way up the pitch. I'm not used to seeing this. Bladed back. Here's Francois. Off
the post again.
I think Kuzminski got a touch to it as well.
Yeah, he did.
And now it's a fantastic save if that's the case. Yes, it was.
Great job by the goalkeeper there, because I thought that was in for sure. And, you know, Francois was a little bit.
Well, that's a crowd pleaser for those Battery fans watching at the alley down in Charleston. A Pittsburgh hello to them from myself and Paul, one of the longest tenured, of course, fan groups in the USL, taking in the match. This is Adewale. Riverhounds getting everyone but Dan Lindis had a look, it appears, in this opening half hour.
Yeah.
And don't factor him out if he's
Charleston look a little bit in shell shock at the moment. I've got to be honest. They're kind of not used to this and this constant pressure, and it seems like they're having a little bit of a trouble with it. But Hounds have got to capitalise on it if they're going to make anything work.
Well, mark down the save from Kuzminski in the 27th minute. He tapped it off the woodwork to his left. Cristiano Francois hit the crossbar and the post. And just matches up with his season. Ray Lee is hurt as he was spun hard to the ground. And over to check is Eric Tattersall.
Yeah, interesting to see what happens here.
Now Lee tried to get in the way.
Yeah, he put his body in front of him. It was an obstruction
of
call.
O'Brien Woodbine, yes.
Yeah.
So it's a foul, as it turns out, against Lee, even though he got the worst of it. O'Brien Woodbine, MLS veteran. 2 goals and an assist. He's gotten hot during this unbeaten streak for Charleston. 30 years old from Jamaica. Plenty of Jamaican representation on both sides of the field tonight. Kerr right through, and here is one of those Jamaicans. It's Brett deep to Francois again. Number 7's been all over the place. 7 cutting in. Francois gave it up as Higashi doubled back to get in front of Forbes.
I think that's where you were talking to Bob Lilly and saying about Francois there, because you could just see it. I mean, what a great job he did the hard part, and then just didn't look up and find the player and give him a good pass. But he's always so dangerous when he's running down those wings. I mean, his speed is incredible, and we know he can shoot too.
Still 24 years old, still some room for improvement. His speed stands out, and now the playmaking is developing. And Bob just raved about his potential. That's why he loves him, and they've given him more responsibility apparently compared to last season in Rochester. Assistant coach Mark Pulisic got a shout out from Bob too for all the work he's put in both before and after practice sessions. Just individual skill stuff and decision making with Francois. So that's the behind the scenes action that you don't often hear about.
Yeah, nobody realizes that. There's a lot more involved than just Bob Lilly. You know, there's 2 or 3 assistants and on the goalkeeping side and midfield defense, and there's a nice ball.
Dover puts this one in a little too tall for Brett.
No problem for the keeper with that.
Well, Dan Visser is one of the assistants. You mentioned goalkeeping. Hunter Gilstrap, former Riverhound, runs the show there. Forbes coughed that one up. Another turnover for Canardo in the midfield. And that'll give Jay Bolt some room here on the switch of play. Bolt, stutter step, 23-year-old out of city of Orlando. Nearly gave it up, and then Guerra took it right back as he bumped Roberts off the ball. And this will be a corner kick for Charleston, as it turns out. So a couple of missed clearances for Pittsburgh, and perhaps the benefit of the doubt on a 50-50 call there.
Yeah, really. I thought the referee was going to give a call there, because the player definitely just went after, you know, was it Roberts or Dover?
It's Roberts who was bumped hard.
Yeah, he just got knocked, and he let it play on.
Gordon Wild will handle the corner kick again.
First time we've seen him down this end for quite a while, Matt. Now they've got to be strong here, and
the third corner for Charleston bounces free once, and a wild swing by Kelly sends it toward the pub. And into the pub, I think. It went over the screen.
Yeah.
A couple of similarities between the home of the Hounds and the home of the Battery. Pubs in both stadiums. Folks in Charleston watching on WCIV, the ABC affiliate too. So we have quite the audience from South Carolina, Paul. I'm excited to say that, yeah. And Charleston, as I mentioned, just like the Hounds, one of the hottest teams in American pro soccer right now. 3-0-3 in their past 6 are the Battery.
And that's what's great. You know, I don't think people realize how important the fans are when you're a player. For you, you know, and it's great to see that the support is coming stronger and stronger in the USL for most of the teams in the league now. So it's come a long, long way.
You can always count on it from the Battery too.
Sure.
With the tradition they have. Same deal with the Richmond Kickers. Old guard, if you will, in the USL. Look at the possession there. It sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah,
as we've eyeballed it in the first half hour. 58% for Pittsburgh. A much more assertive Pittsburgh team than we saw in the previous matchup at Charleston. And Brett turns it straight up the field, but he's not going to be able to get by Archer. And that big wingspan of his.
And Lee missing it the first time.
Lee getting in the way and forcing the turnover. Francois lets one fly, and it's blocked. Right back to Forbes. Can the Hounds get something off the regroup?
Yeah, Dover's going to look for the cross here, I would think. Or
Jordan Dover just outside the box. Wanted to slide it through Wild, and then he got a hand on Wild. That'll be a foul. Wild wanted an advantage. He wanted to go. He's not, or pardon me, Bolt, I should say, wanted to go and get it to Wild.
Yeah, a little bit of not a good decision making there. As you can see, I don't know what he's thinking. He's thinking, let's try and get it between his legs or try and get it around him. And as you can see, he can get caught out that way. But he did give probably a professional foul there because he knew he was Bolt was going to be gone.
Low percentage play, I would say. Yeah. Would have been flashy. Would have been nice if you pull it off. But in that case, unable to be completed for Jordan Dover. Here's Hackshaw fighting through some traffic, but it's ripped off of him. Francois can't catch up, though, with Anunga getting back. Played it in on his keeper, and Kuzminski had Brett right there. And if you're not used to that, that's what Brett does. He'll do a flyby right in front of the keeper.
Oh, that's a good ball by Kerr.
Francois taps it past Hackshaw. Did he get fouled? No.
I don't think he did. I think he just stumbled and couldn't keep his feet because he knew, we know he's got the great speed to just push it past the player and go. And that's what he was trying to do there.
Even if it was going to be a foul, I'm not sure it would have been a PK. It looked like that happened just outside the line. The Riverhounds don't have a penalty kick on this season. For or against, for that matter, which is extremely rare halfway through 17 matches in.
Yeah, that is.
Shots are 4-1 Pittsburgh. We'll take a look at Francois looking to get by Hackshaw,
look at his touch
team of the week.
Did a great touch.
I think he did just stumble, yeah.
Yeah, he just couldn't keep his feet on this artificial turf, and we've seen him do it a few times.
Fly up. Yes, usually he's able to keep his feet on those quick cuts, and they're always quick cuts with him, as Adewale runs right through Higashi. And this, will it be a booking or will it be a talking to? It appears to be just a discussion for right now, a warning before the warning from referee Tattersall.
That's a good job by the referee. I mean, he's giving him a warning now. Just don't do it again, at least till the second half.
Exactly. The Riverhounds have done well, not committing a lot of fouls. And here's a clean take in the middle of the pitch. Forbes has options. He'll send Kerr. Kerr right back and a little away from Francois, who didn't make that beeline to the penalty spot. And that's where Kerr served it. And Roberts runs through Wild. Another foul against Pittsburgh.
That was a great opportunity there. They weren't on the same page there because Kerr really didn't have much options. That was his only space to knock it into. And a shame somebody wasn't coming up late there, like a right midfielder or a defender, and could have taken a shot.
Tula Guerra, few touches for him so far. Here comes Dan Lynn to prevent the corner kick. And Guerra with his hands up, he's arguing about the hands of Adewale apparently getting in his way.
This is where I said, this is where you start getting frustrated.
Already 2 shots on target, by the way. That was the total last time these teams got together. It's been more assertive and offensively oriented here. We like that. The Hounds have played 5 scoreless draws, but none since that 0-0 tie at Charleston about a month ago. There have been a couple on the board for the Battery. Vanki Azil just heads that to no one in particular, and it's picked up by Anunga.
Yeah, he needed a call there from one of his teammates.
Here comes Dover. Dover rips it away from Bolt. Right back to Francois, and that's an easy call. Francois turned, and Anunga was right there and clipped him.
Another great opportunity right here for the Hounds, and I'm sure Kerr's going to be taking this one. And as we said, driving this ball hard and low in, so somebody can get a deflection or get a shot on target.
As you might imagine, Francois right there near the top in terms of the Hounds leaderboard and fouls drawn. He's got 30 coming in, make it 31. Kerr rolls it back a touch. at the behest of referee Tattersall. Pittsburgh has 4 shots, 1 on target, 1 off the crossbar, 1 off the post. They're knocking at the door in the first half, but now we're into the 38th minute. Plenty of hounds in the box.
That's what I thought he was
But
going
Kerr
to
gives off to the uncovered man. Oh, Forbes, he had Kerr on the give and go, but he couldn't get it through. Higashi read it and blocked it.
I was just going to say that before he kicked it. I think he's going to knock this one short and go for a 1-2 or let him have a shot, but he took it really quickly, and then defense did really well, actually, stopping that one going through.
So it'll be a Pittsburgh throw. All this buzzing around the Charleston goal, but nothing to show for it yet. Cristiano Francois tries to navigate that gauntlet, but unsuccessfully.
Yeah, a lot of white shirts around him right there. Right? He didn't have much space to go into, and just miskicked it out of bounds.
Want to win tickets to a USL game of your choice? Show off how well you know the league every Tuesday morning. It's on USLsoccer.com. It's the Pick'em contest. You have a chance to be a winner and get those free tickets. We love to see you out here in Pittsburgh, of course, free or paid. Vonkie Azil, another dual 1 there to poke the ball away. He's among the Hounds leaders there in tackles and dual conversion rate, if you will. This would be a tough one to pick coming in. And if you're going off recent form, you probably would have said it's going to be a draw. We'll find out as the night continues on.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time yet, Matt.
Anunga turned right into Dover, and then Dover blasted it off of Anunga's leg. So that wins the throw. I think we'll see at least a couple of goals tonight, judging by the way this one's gone.
I hope so. Just makes it much more entertaining and exciting, and we've had a couple of good chances.
Bernardo Forbes upset with himself as the ball slides through. Adewale gives way to Dan Lind, who plucked that off the turf. Atula Guerra, I know he hasn't had much of the ball, but you don't want to give him even a crack of a window with his conversion rate on the season. 10 goals on 34 shots. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah, good forwards. They only need 1 or 2 chances and they can be deadly.
Guerra scored one of his few first-half goals last week against Louisville. Here's Kerr's back heel, and the Hounds are showing off the skills a little bit. Kevin Kerr especially. Look at that juggle. And then Dover tried to one-up him with the volley pass.
That was a juggling contest right there.
Riverhounds are feeling confident, clearly, at the moment.
Yeah, that definitely shows with all 2 or 3 players there, you know, just feeling comfortable that they can knock the ball with their heel, and obviously they do it in practice, but not usually in a game situation like that.
In terms of individual skill, this might have been the best half we've seen from the Hounds. It's just they haven't filtered one in between those pesky posts down to our right. Right in front of the Steel Army, the Hounds attack that way. That's typically been the case here this season. The wind is against Pittsburgh in this first half. It was freshening around kickoff, but now it's settled a bit. And that's a missed pass by Kuzminski.
I thought he was catching the ball before it went out of bounds. I thought he was going to give us a free kick.
Yeah, it was a weird look to it. It wasn't clearly out, I know that much. So Greenspan, and now Dover. Jordan Dover, native Canadian, to Roberts, state of Maryland. Now Vonkie Azil, who's happy about his native France winning the World Cup.
I'm sure.
4-1 winners over Croatia in the final. Vonkie Azil, the Hounds rookie, sprays it out wide. This is Kerr. And now Ray Lee, looking to cross as he usually does, but hands it off as he was under the gun. Kerr will cross it short, seeking out Vonkie Azil, but it's headed away. And now Charleston on the counter. Gordon Wild, he had Roberts turn the wrong way. Wild gave it up. Greenspan right there.
I just was going to say, Bob Lillard's going to tell him that immediately. You know, if you're going to run, you've got to run with your back to the goal, and got to be watching that ball all the time. Here's an opportunity right here.
Francois takes on and lets one fly. That was deflected at the start, but bounced right in on Kuzminski.
Boy, we know he can be so deadly from that angle.
Francois against Leland Archer, 1v1.
Cutting inside and getting, he got a deflection there.
That right foot is so strong. Here's Bolt up ahead. Bolt wants to take the 1-2, but Greenspan's going to find it first and just let it spin out for a goal kick. I thought maybe Greenspan touched it, but he didn't. Good restraint there from big number 20.
He's tough guy to get around, and especially the difference in sizes with those two guys.
Interesting stuff tonight. Entertainment factor has been high. Lind cracks it right up the middle. The back spinner comes loose to Francois. Well, he wanted to hook up here with Dover, it appeared, but Roberts has to try to make something of it. Wild turned one way, or Bolt rather, back the other. He cleared it off of Dover's body.
I thought Roberts was interfered with there when he got up, and the player put his body into him and made it difficult for him to get any power on the header. But Charleston, I thought they were going to give it away again there, but they did it right there.
They did eventually, yeah. Higashi just had it spill off his foot. And so it's Brett, square to Francois. Right back, Canardo Forbes gets another look at it. Forbes leads the Hounds in passes per 90. Another give here to Vunky Azil, who's getting a bit more up in this first half into the attack. Forbes slices one to the arc for Brett. Pulls it right back out, 45th minute. Can't be much stoppage time on the way, you wouldn't imagine. Vunky Azil spins this one in the direction of Dover, who heads it back, but in the opinion of referee Tattersall, committed a foul.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably 1 minute or something like that. There was only I think one stoppage.
Just one for River. Hackshaw was hurt a bit in the opening minutes. Other than that, we've had some restarts, of course, with several corners, but nothing much else.
Referee might add some time on here for the keeper delaying the game, but
no stoppage time upcoming, so we're probably going to get a hard whistle here at 45 in just a few seconds as the two keepers play catch, and now it's Ray Lee. Lee, a bit of a Hail Mary pass. Kerr's going to try to get up on it, but Mueller nodded it right on its keeper, Kuzminski, and that's it. 45 minutes in the books, no stoppage time added on, and no score from Pittsburgh's Highmark Stadium. The Hounds with the better of the chances, but Charleston had a few looks here and there. And Paul Child, I have to say that Pittsburgh's got to feel good about the process, if not the result so far.
Oh, no, definitely. I think they've had more possession. They've created more chances. I think we've only seen Charleston go down this end maybe twice and had a couple of corner kicks. So Hounds definitely on top in that regards, and created some chances and unfortunately hit the post twice.
We haven't seen much of the woodwork from the Hounds this season, but twice in one match. Francois has got to be replaying a couple of those looks. And, of course, give credit to Kuzminski making the save that actually played the ball off the post on the second of those outstanding looks for the Riverhounds number 7, who has been outstanding for the third consecutive game, at least in the first half of this one. So we'll step aside here on ESPN Plus and bring it on back, take a look around the league, and get you ready for the second half of play. Pittsburgh and Charleston, 2 versus 3 in the East. It's been fun so far. Stay with us right here from Highmark Stadium.
A lot of clients ask us what makes us different. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Joyce's signature collection. We truly are jewelers. We're passionate about jewelry. We understand the process of making jewelry and what it takes to make the highest quality product at the best value. We travel the world to bring back and create the most unique diamond jewelry collection that you will find anywhere. If you've never shopped Joyce's, I personally invite you to visit our store. I know you're gonna love it.
At Joyce's Jewelry.
I just want to make sure that I just do everything I can to just protect him and love him and just, you know, just be the best mom I can be.
Yeah. And with your first, you want to know the doctor because you want to be comfortable with them.
Yeah. I don't want to feel like I'm at a baby factory.
Be like this.
The region's fastest growing labor and delivery program is at Allegheny Health Network.
It's a new era unleashed at Highmark Stadium, and the Riverhounds are battling for first place in the Eastern Conference. It's Faith and Family Night, presented to you by Cornerstone TV and K-Love, when the Richmond Kickers come to town August 1st for a special Wednesday matchup with a 7 p.m. kickoff.
Nice touch, Parks.
Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Purchase your tickets at riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
Parks stuck the landing.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
Back at Highmark Stadium, two of the top defensive teams in the Eastern Conference in the USL living up to reputation, even though we had a couple of close calls, especially from the Pittsburgh perspective. And we took a look at the possession. I'm Matt Geico with Paul Child, by the way, from Highmark Stadium. We took a look at the possession about midway through that first half. Pittsburgh had the edge, and it really seemed like more of the same as we progressed all the way to halftime. And there you see it, about the same edge, 57-43 in favor of the Hounds, and 7-2 shots. Yeah, it all appears as we saw. One of those games where the stats match up with the flow of play.
With how it's going, yeah. I mean, the Hounds have really been doing really well with possession, and when Charleston do get possession of the ball, the Hounds close them down really quickly and have usually made them make a bad pass or won the ball back and gone at them again.
I think we're seeing the difference in energy right now with the Riverhounds having all that energy store built up from 12 days off. Charleston played 2 games last week, didn't play in the middle of the week, but still, the Riverhounds appear to be the fresher team, more on the front foot here in the first half. And they've been aggressive too. More fouls committed by the Riverhounds than we're used to seeing.
Yeah,
so
a
little more with a taste of battle.
Well, that shows you that energy, you know, that buzzing and closing down and trying to win everything back, and they're doing a real good job of it. As I said earlier, I think that Charleston is a little bit in shell shock because of the way they were getting closed down, and they usually probably get a little bit more time, and that's what they've been doing, the Hounds.
Well, Mike Anhauser will have the halftime to try to sort things out and get his team situated. So will Bob Lilly, for that matter, on the Pittsburgh side. We're going to step out and throw it to the USL's top 10 plays of the first half. A little SportsCenter top 10 treatment for you. We'll be right back on the other side of this break.
SportsCenter's top plays. Number 10, Fred. That's Matias Silva. Rocket outside the box for a goal. It's the real Monarchs, Swope Park Rangers.
And number 9 for the United Soccer League, Tampa Bay Rowdies and the Charlotte Independents. 90th minute. Dominic Oduro. Absolute firecracker from outside the box.
Phoenix Rising FC, OKC Energy FC. Solomon Asante. That is a goal. That's a finish.
This is soccer. Fresno and Seattle. That's Jamal Johnson.
San Antonio, Reno 1868, 27th minute. Reno's Jerry Avik. Jerry Van Avik.
Steve have action on the Las Vegas Lights and the Swope Park Rangers. It's legal. Juan Kazane, free kick, bangs it. This is a little soccer for St. Louis FC, Phoenix Rising FC. They're going at it. Chris Cortez, the blast, bang.
Sacramento Republic and Fresno FC. This is deep. Frank Tayu over the goalkeeper.
United Soccer League, Indy 11, Nashville SC, and Absolute Caracas.
United Soccer League, FC Cincinnati, Richmond Kickers. I like that name.
Fresno FC, Swope Park Rangers, 32nd minute. Great passing, and then Jamal Johnson back in the onion bag.
Nashville and Penn FC. Nashville work at the give and the go. Lebo Maloto. Bebeto. Maloto.
We're up to 2. More United Soccer League. Jason Johnson.
Be arrested. That's an unbelievable goal.
JJ, the scissor kick.
Holy shnikey, what a firecracker. Look at that thing, that little screwball action. And you take it. Of course, the keeper always.
For the Fighting Phils.
Number 1, United Soccer League. That's Cincinnati's goalie, Spencer Ritchie, to Kenny Walker, who puts it in from almost 50 yards. That is silly and saucy.
Some jaw-dropping plays there. I feel bad for the keepers, Paul, because it was all fantastic goals, don't get me wrong, but yeah, the defenders and the keepers are probably hanging their heads after some of those. Let's go to the USL News and Notes. I'm Matt Geico with Paul Child from Highmark Stadium. And the attendance figure continues to rise in the USL. There's a 14% attendance increase over 2017. So that was cool to see in the first half of the season, already to 1.5 million. Look at this from White of Red Bulls 2. We saw him in here. He can get it done. A goal, an assist, and a save in the same game. I'm not sure. Have you ever done something like that? I don't know.
No,
about
usually
that.
when I went back, I usually score on myself, you know, and then I have to go and get a goal back.
Well, outstanding. And the USL continues to expand. Loudoun United will become the 7th new franchise for next season. A couple more expansion teams expected down the line. So USL continues to grow and grow and grow as the 2nd division league in this country. And the Hounds have, I think, been fortunate to stake a claim here in the USL. Here's the upcoming schedule. Eastern Conference only, of course, as we're focused on that here with Pittsburgh taking on Charleston. Looking forward to seeing if Louisville City, Paul, they've been in a slump. So a chance to get out of it against Ottawa Fury, that's one that I'm looking at right there.
Yeah, you know, you never know with Ottawa, though, because they are a pretty strong team. And I think, you know, we beat them here 1-0. We beat them there 1-0. It was a real close game. They had a few chances, but really didn't put them away. You know, they need to turn that around.
Yeah, Ottawa, well, the whole Eastern Conference outside of Toronto, you're basically in it. As far as still being able to creep your way into the playoff field. Let's take a look at some of those expansion teams, shall we? We'll name them. You saw Loudoun United, Hartford, Connecticut getting into the mix here, so expanding the footprint easterly. Austin, Birmingham, El Paso, some Western teams there. Memphis and New Mexico, and there you see Chicago and East Bay. I'm excited about, not to pick just one, but Hartford for me. Big town, good sports town.
It's been a soccer town for a long time too. I mean, a lot of good soccer players came out of Hartford and still have some great players. So, you know, it's good to see them back in.
And we saw Hartford Athletics scarf on the Fox pregame show for their World Cup coverage, I believe. Here's your games of the week coming up, midweek stuff. You can catch them on the ESPN family of networks. San Antonio, Colorado Springs is your next one. You'll see the Charleston Battery against Tampa Bay Rowdies, an American South matchup, two long-standing teams in American Pro Soccer. And back out west for the 15th and the 22nd of August. Well, there you have it. That's your trip around the USL. And we'll bring it right on back here locally to set up the second half. 0-0 between Pittsburgh and Charleston tonight on ESPN+.
Ow. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
That one a little bit.
A little bit right here?
Yeah, right there.
Well, it looks like we can treat this in just a cast. So is this your first time getting a cast?
Yes.
Does it feel nice?
Yeah, it feels nice.
Call 412-DOCTORS for a same-day appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
All right, that's enough, you two. Don't paint your brother. No, you can't eat the clay. What can I say? Moms just know. I'm Christine Sorensen, and as a mom, I know parents know a lot. But for the few things we don't know, there's Kidsburg, your go-to resource for all the great things in our area for kids and families. Everything from kid-friendly events, creative learning, and help for parents. It's every Wednesday on KDKA TV, emailed to your inbox and online at kidsburg.org.
It's a new era unleashed at Highmark Stadium, and the Riverhounds are battling for first place in the Eastern Conference. It's It's Faith and Family Night, presented to you by Cornerstone TV and K-Love, when the Richmond Kickers come to town August 1st for a special Wednesday matchup with a 7 p.m. kickoff.
Nice touch, Parks.
Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Purchase your tickets at riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
Parks stuck the landing.
I developed some postpartum depression. I noticed that, I wasn't connecting with my daughter as much. I didn't want people to judge me for this.
I'm on the green couch because my wife did not survive her battle with postpartum depression. That's why I work with HN and Highmark, and we're building a safe place for new moms so that other moms like you can find their joy.
Hope for families struggling with postpartum depression is at Allegheny Health Network.
On the banks of the Monongahela River here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the homestanding Hounds against the visiting Charleston Battery. There you see the score 0-0 here on ESPN+. I am Matt Geico on the play-by-play. Paul Child providing the analysis. Let's go to the highlights from the first half of this one, and there were some close shaves. Definitely down to our right, the goal the Hounds were attacking, in fact. And here you take a look at one of those early ones. Kevin Kerr turning the corner, and Ray Lee putting one into the mix. Kuzminski parries it away.
Kerr trying to get on the rebound of that with his head, and then kind of thought twice about it because he knew he wasn't going to get there, and he didn't want to get a boot in the face.
Kerr again, the trigger man. Francois faking, crossbar.
Yeah, he did a great job there, and you see it again. He just cuts that ball inside on the right and fires it really quickly, and keeper already couldn't do anything with it.
Just a fraction away from his finish against North Carolina FC 2 weeks ago. Well, here you go, Thomas Vanke Azil finding himself at the end line. He dumped it back, and Francois again off of Kuzminski's left hand, and then dinks off the right post.
This is a really good save here. I mean, you can see it right now. And
best angle right here.
A little touch. What a perfect touch. Goalkeeper praise for those.
No doubt. Well, we talked about the home-heavy second half for Pittsburgh. This one's included in that. But on the road next week at North Carolina FC, a quick rematch of the Independence Day showdown here. Richmond and Toronto at home in a span of 4 days. So time for the Hounds to make some hay, you would say there. Charleston, the Battery, also unbeaten in 6 coming into this one. Well, they have this to look at in the coming weeks. Another old guard showdown against Richmond at home. And then a trip, North Carolina FC and Tampa Bay. And you saw that Tampa Bay matchup is one of our games of the week on the ESPN family of networks. Then against struggling Atlanta United 2 and FC Cincinnati, the first place team in the East. So Charleston has done well against top teams, and ought to continue to do so if they want to keep their spot in the playoff zone in the Eastern Conference. It's tight right now, Paul. It's not like, even if you're Charleston, they're a couple points behind the Hounds, and it feels like the Hounds are pretty safe, but Charleston's not that far clear from the teams out of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
I think they're all really close here, and there's still a lot of games. There's 17 games to go here, Matt, and that's for us at least. And, there's plenty of time as well, so you're going to see some other teams starting picking up as well towards this halfway through the second half of the season.
25 points is the playoff cutoff in the East, and Charleston has 32. So 7 points, that's 3 matches basically.
Yep.
If you have a 3-game win streak or a losing streak going the other way. Cincinnati well ahead by 7 in the East, as we touched on at the top here, but the Hounds have 3 games in hand, and so that's always something to keep in mind right now, is we're still working our way through the portion of the schedule where teams have weeks off. No more weeks off for Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, because it seems like that's a lot of games to be in hand, 3 games, but I'm guessing like 2 or 3 teams have all had that kind of situation, and then these other teams will get that situation as well as we go into the second half there.
Right, just 4 games apiece in June and July for Pittsburgh, but then 6 apiece in August and September. So that's when the rebound will commence, if you will, in terms of games played. Here we go, second half. Charleston in the white, Pittsburgh in the gold and black. And the Hounds now have the wind at their backs. Hard to tell if that'll make any significant difference. Not a terribly strong wind, but it's out there. It's stiff breeze.
Yeah, definitely is blowing, and Charleston coming out attacking, it seems, right away, trying to get some pressure on the Hounds, compared to what they did in the first half.
Well, reading the pregame quotes from Mike Anhauser and Naveal Hackshaw, they wanted to put pressure on Pittsburgh, but they haven't done it so far. Reaching in is Bolt to try to create some havoc, but Dan Lynn got in the way, and then the Riverhounds clear out to the river side of the field. Banging off that promotional signing over there. But it's been the Riverhounds putting almost all the pressure on so far in this one. But Charleston can say, we're not behind, we're still on level terms.
Yeah, I'm sure they're pretty happy on the road, and they've kept it 0-0 for the first half. And you've got to be happy with that as a coach, and hopefully you can change things around in the second half. But we'll see what happens.
Busy night in the USL Eastern Conference. We have 7 matches. You can keep up to date on all of that on the USL's official Twitter account, Handball here against Charleston. Go to @USL on Twitter for news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league. They're quick with the trigger on the highlights there. I've enjoyed that throughout the season. Not when I'm calling the game, mind you, but when I'm watching the Hounds on the road or it's another game night. That would be impressive in terms of multitasking. I don't know if I'm that skilled.
Yes, you are, Matt.
Well, I'd rather not try it. I like to stay focused on what's in front of me, Paul. I have my phone in hand too much anyway.
Gotcha.
As Lee sends it out off of a leg, off of O'Brien Woodbine's leg, in fact. Thomas Vankiazil plays into the safety of the Hounds' half of the pitch. Greenspan to Forbes, and there's Kevin Kerr over there, Mr. Riverhound, the captain. Now to Forbes and Francois cutting back. Some combination play from Pittsburgh to possess the ball at the start of the second half. Forbes, the Jamaican midfielder, slides it through to the Haitian-born attacker, and that's Francois to the Frenchman and Vankiazil. And right back to Forbes, who sends it in.
Whoa.
Brett was there, pops free. Can the Hounds locate it? They fought over it for a bit. Now Dover turning, and it's popped off his foot by Angelo Kelly.
Francois and Dover just talking there. Francois kind of blocked his shot for a second, and he's pointing at him and saying, why didn't you just get out of the way? And he didn't really have time.
So Dover with the throw. Riverhounds were offside.
There's the touch, and they tackled each other actually, and he blocked it. But
too many bodies in the same area.
Yep.
For the boys in black and gold. And it's really funny actually, because the Hounds secondary kit looks just like Charleston's road kit. It's like an inter-squad scrimmage here today. Black and gold for Charleston at home usually. Stripe pattern, signature of the battery. These teams have played each other 30 times in total, and Charleston's got the better of it. 12 wins and just 6 losses in those 30 matches. As Kerr flags this one down, wants to try to volley it. Instead of a volley, a pass over to Ray Lee. Steps on the gas, but lost control.
A little bit scrappy there. I mean, the ball's kind of bouncing all over the place. Nobody really couldn't get control of it. And even Charleston and then the Hounds. Charleston taking a quick goal kick here to try and catch the Hounds jogging backwards. And
Brett called for the foul. Bob Lilly throws his hands up.
Yeah, it kind of looked like this guy slipped and didn't really get hit by Brett. But
50th minute. No score on the board. Guerra.
Whoa.
Oh my, and Nunga just plows right through Canardo Forbes, and Kenny, as they call him, is slow to rise.
Yeah. He got leveled there.
Forbes tied for the team lead in assists. I mentioned tops in passes per 90. He's the big distributor, and Anunga just a reckless challenge.
Got a whiplash, I think.
That was a rough collision. Vankiazil wide, and now Tommy V gets it back. Roberts scored in the Hounds' previous match. Greenspan trying one for Lee. Can he keep it?
Oh,
he just fell down, but it was offside anyway. No, it's just a goal kick, pardon me. It was onside as Lee sprinted past.
He's got to be mad with himself there, because he it's one of those things where I think he was in shock that he was so wide open, and then all you needed was that good touch because he was so close to the byline, and he didn't have it. His cleat gave way on him, and he just went down because I'm sure he'd really love to take that one back.
Give credit to Greenspan, too, for finding him. You don't expect to see your wingback uncovered. As I mentioned, it was wingback on wingback over here, as it often is, with O'Brien Woodbine unable to cover up. And that three-man back line has been exposed a couple of times by Pittsburgh. The back line of Charleston I'm speaking of course.
And I would think Bob Lilly probably noticed that and really...
Quick throw, flick into the box by Kerr. He was looking for Brett. Throw in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Brett's in his sets place there, where you usually want to see him, because anything comes in there like that, he usually jumps on it.
Adewale faked like he was going to send a through ball. Now just hands to Lee. To Kerr. Give and go here with Brett Kerr. Off the body of Leland Archer. Corner kick Pittsburgh, their first of the second half.
Penalty kick.
And are they calling a handball? I believe they are. Referee Tattersall is pointing to the spot.
Boy.
I said in the first half, the Hounds do not have a penalty kick attempt on the season, but by all appearances, they're about to have one. And what a break here. I thought it was just off the side of Archer.
That was a little surprise. I got to watch this one again.
Well, luckily we do have the benefit of the replay, thanks to the boys down at Vista.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely got his arm out.
Yes, it was out, away from his body, and that's the determining factor usually on these things.
Yeah, he didn't keep it close to his body, and he stuck his arm out, and we even could see that right at the very end there, his arm coming out and deflecting it out for a corner kick, but obviously the referee was in a better position.
Mike Anhauser is livid, talking to fourth official Kervin Moon.
There it is, you can see it. It hits his arm and sends it back.
Thanks to our crack camera crew here at Highmark Stadium. Awesome stuff to give us the definitive look. No need for video assistant refereeing here. Nico Brett leads the team with 8 goals. He's going to put it at the spot and go with the right foot, and he's stopped. He tried to go right down the middle, and sliding on his side, Kuzminski keeps it scoreless.
Boy, that was a gift back to them, and we had a gift, and it's all even still.
The first PK of the season in USL play goes for naught. Brett is stopped. That's a shocker here. And Kevin Kerr, who helped the Hounds win that corner kick with a give and go with Ray Lee, or pardon me, the penalty kick, I mean. He couldn't catch up to that one. A bit of a shocking moment, no doubt, at Highmark Stadium.
Really didn't test the keeper at all. I mean, he didn't even get any power on it, and he kind of spun off him, and he could recatch it again.
And here's Guerra right across the face of goal, nearly putting Charleston ahead, but Lind, I believe, got a piece.
I think that's a real mental block right there, you know, with this situation in front of the Hounds' goals, because of just having missed the penalty kick.
Maybe, right.
Getting a chance and kind of letting off, and gave him a great opportunity.
Yeah, that's one of the few times you'll see the Riverhounds back line let up. Corner kick here. It'll be Wild, spinning it toward the spot, and Hugh Roberts got the top of his head on it. Chasing it down, Jay Bolt. Paul, I have to assume that Brett didn't strike that one well. We'll take a look at it again. We'll take a look at that one, and also the Guerra misfire. We'll see if he stubs his foot or anything like that. No, he didn't really.
He just hit it dead down the center. And,
he was betting that Kuzminski was going to commit hard to one side. And Guerra, skilled attempted strike. So, was about ready to put the marker on the board for the Hounds. These teams have now played, well, 144 minutes plus some stoppage time with no goals. But Guerra trying to change that. Adewale takes that heavy touch and dispatches it.
Bob Lilly getting a little bit anxious here, and I can understand that. Kind of letting Charlotte back in the game, and it's rejuvenated Charlotte because of getting away with that penalty kick. You've got to, it really helps your players, and they come alive.
And now you see the battery coming on strong here, winning some 50-50 balls. O'Brien Woodbine, with the help of the fine challenge from Anunga, gets possession. And all the way over on the far side, Hackshaw. Naveal Hackshaw scored the winner against Louisville City He and Wild were members of the USL's Team of the Week this past week. And an errant feed there for Jay Bolt. He's upset. The Riverhounds try to strike quickly on the counter after the restart, but it'll bounce out off of Kerr's head.
Yeah, Kerr didn't really get what he wanted on that. He just kind of like misheaded it and went straight up in the air. But Charlotte coming back again at the Hounds and putting pressure on them. Oh, getting a free kick for some.
So it has to feel like a stay of execution for the Charleston battery. They've had to play on the back foot for a lot of this one, relying on the counterattack, and they get called for the handball. Leland Archer, as it turned out, a legit call on the handball in the penalty area. But Brett can't finish the PK.
Well, here's a good situation here for Charleston. I think he might be just going to switch this ball. Oh no, it's gone deep into the box.
Right to the arc. That's where Guerra fights with Greenspan. Two lanky men colliding. Wild, now a duel with Roberts. Drives it up off of Wild's leg. In fact, does Roberts. He did well to win possession for the Hounds.
We're lucky there's a boat going by. They might be able to pick that one up.
It's part of the Gateway Clipper fleet. If you're not familiar with what goes on here in Pittsburgh, usually we see one or two slide on by. A few barges as well. It's the open end of the stadium. Most of the seating is on the near side. You also see folks to our left at the Highmark Stadium pub and to our right in the Steel Army stand, which is about to be expanded, actually. We're going to get close to over a 5,000 seat capacity, I believe, in fact. Hearing from owner Tuffy Schallenberger on that one. It's been an anticipated expansion of the seating area at this facility, which was opened in 2013. Vunky Azil, the tap forward. Francois works hard to get one touch, but he can't get the second. And Charleston back in control with Leland Archer missing Higashi here right in front of us.
Yeah, really.
Cincy leads New York Red Bulls 2-1. So Cincinnati trying to expand that 7-point lead over Pittsburgh for the top spot. Brett breaking downfield, but Leland Archer in the way. And now O'Brien Woodbine. Woodbine, who helped get Charleston on the board early against Louisville with a fine setup to Guerra. Woodbine catches up here with those pink boots, drives it right back to Anunga.
And going all the way back with this one, starting it over again, and now going down the left flank.
Hackshaw,
that's a tough
Wild,
ball to catch.
it's just a step slow. Gordon Wild, 22-year-old German. He's handled most of the restarts, definitely all the corner kicks from both flags. The Riverhounds have done well to limit these attackers for Charleston. Just 2 shots in the first half for the battery. The Hounds had 7. And it still feels like the entire stadium's trying to get over the missed PK at the moment, and the Riverhounds don't have that luxury. They have to keep playing.
Yeah, I think the Flowers
and keep battling
a little bit there.
The starch has come out of them since then, it seems. It's an emotional game. It's an emotional sport. It happens. The ebbs and the flows of it.
Oh, definitely, Matt. That's what really can change the game around. And as you can see, Charleston seem to have got a rejuvenation of life right now, and they're getting more possession. But now the Hounds are trying to get it back and starting to knock the ball around, and it's a long way.
Kerr tried to find Forbes, but unable to connect there. And that's when the artificial surface comes into play, because instead of having to make a play with Forbes right there in front of him, Leland Archer could just let it roll out. It's a tighter field than most, width-wise, and then you have the livelier bounces too. So it's a different brand of soccer here than it is some places, especially Charleston, like we were mentioning, the natural surface down there. They have great weather for it too, so they can maintain it perfectly.
Yeah, it's a beautiful field too, like you said.
Used to be called Blackbaud Stadium, as you well know from coaching in this league.
They used to have a great bar there too.
I think they still do the Three Lions Pub.
Yeah.
I was just looking into that. And Charleston with a chance now to create something, but Wild gave it up, and Guerra's upset about that decision. Meanwhile, the Hounds take it on the counter. A little bit slower here. Forbes elected to go back to Dover. Francois is going to take it on the bounce on the switch of play.
And there goes Lee.
Francois drags. Lee's there. Francois is running the overlap, but Lee couldn't get it back to him. Ray Lee distributes over to Canardo Forbes. Forbes in the direction of Brett, or pardon me, that's actually Dover stepping up, and he misfired on the header.
Yeah, I think he headed it off of Bolt, and Bolt headed it off.
They're going to give a goal kick, though.
Yeah, it's a goal kick. I think it was the other way around. Bolt headed it off Dover.
Here's Higashi, the native of Japan, outmuscled there by Toby Adewale. Kerr on the trot. Francois, they team up on the left flank. Now Charleston closing out quickly. Anunga can't get there as Lee slid it to Vankiazil. And now further. Jordan Dover. Dover the cutback, lost control, gets it back, lets one rip, and it's blocked. Kerr's gonna let it bounce out for a corner.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice move there, and did really well. And saw that opportunity for a split second, and then the defender getting a block on that did really well too.
Jordan Dover has a goal this season on a similar type of a run, so he can make some things happen. Francois on the corner. He has Forbes next to him, though, and the Hounds have done that once already, play it short. Not this time. A short corner to the near side post at that time, and Greenspan was the only one in the vicinity. O'Brien Woodbine with the clear. Right back into the mix, and Kuzminski comes out of there with it after Adewale got a touch. Toby Adewale has a goal in a similar situation this year. In fact, Dover, Roberts, and Adewale, all listed as defenders, have one goal this season. Still looking for first strikes from Greenspan back there. Boy, did he have a chance on a header in the first half.
I'm thinking Lee's going to get this and then give it back to Francois as he takes off, but went back into the middle. There's the
Forbes wants Francois. It checks up on the pitch, and Cristiano Francois wanted to go one-on-one with O'Brien Woodbine, and Woodbine won that battle. And here's Anunga, right out for Guerra, and back to Guerra from Anunga, and right back to Anunga. Two-man game for the Battery. Anunga slides it square, but Vankiazil clears, and it's a corner for the Battery. 63rd minute. The play stretching out now. That's one of the more promising counters that the Battery have had.
Yeah, really, that was a good combination down here on the line. They had the Hounds chasing there, and would have liked to have come off with a better finish on it, but they've come away with the corner kick, which gives them a great opportunity again.
Gordon Weil will do the honors. The left footer, Dan Lynn, puts his hands up, looking for some space, punches it down a bit dangerously, but right there is Forbes.
Yeah, and I think he was a little bit surprised with that one. He came at him really quickly and did well to get his hands on it and get it away.
The toss from Ray Lee, native Missourian. Couldn't hook up with Kerr. And we have a substitution, our first of this match. It'll be made by Mike Anhauser in Charleston. Number 13, Nico Rittmeyer is checking in for Kotaro Higashi. Rittmeyer, the 24-year-old from the state of Georgia. Played for the College of Charleston. This is his second season with the Battery.
Oh, looks like there's a corner kick coming up.
And there will be here, right off the hasty restart. The Riverhounds have tried to get the jump on Charleston a handful of times, and it works here. So Francois, after the sub in for Charleston. Still scoreless at Highmark Stadium.
Got to get Greenspan in there, Roberts, and the big guys are all up there.
Vankiazil, Adewale, they're all up.
Yeah.
Lee is one of the lone men back. And again, Forbes is an outlet.
That's a long
Now
ball.
A back post corner kick, and it's over Nico Brett and bounces out. Missed opportunity.
Nico Brett, I don't think he was even close to that one, and he kind of like dipped his head. I thought he was going to backpedal a couple of steps, and he might have been able to bring it down on his chest, but it looks easy from up here, man.
It does often, doesn't it? It's funny how that works. A little bit of distance and some height away from the field. I wonder if the wind had anything to do with that.
Maybe. It looks like he's still blowing pretty good.
Blowing toward the Charleston goal in the second half. Forbes steps up, gets the bottom of his cleat on that, and now he drags it away. from pressure. Forbes. A fine little spun pass here for Francois, facing 2 Charleston defenders. And what'll this be? Goal kick, battery.
Yeah, keeper had the referee had his mind made up there. He was watching that all the way.
Past the hour mark in Pittsburgh. Glad to be with you on ESPN Plus tonight. And we mentioned all the folks watching down in Charleston too, on broadcast television as well as our feed. Kuzminski, strong goal kick, but Greenspan stronger than Guerra. Mr. Ray Lee takes over here. And a fine ball, but Brett unable to control. Greenspan nods it down, and Thomas Vankiazil, the rookie, gives over to Hugh Roberts, former All-USL player with the Richmond Kickers. First year with the Hounds.
Yeah, Nico Brett there, you know, kind of showed for the ball, but then really didn't make an effort to try and get it. I think be interesting to see.
Ooh, there's a collision between Jordan Dover and Jay Bolt on the flank that elicited an ooh from the crowd. You might have heard over the mics. I know I heard it, and I felt like I heard the collision from here. It was chest on chest, it looked like. Well, the Hounds have not conceded a goal in well over 500 minutes now. Charleston got a pair of 2-1 wins last week, so they've been doing it a different way. But defending the name of the game for both these teams, that's the foundation for them. And most winning teams will say that's the same way for them too. Rayleigh takes this away in the air. Vankiazil to Brett. Nico Brett, he had the missed penalty kick. 2 shots off the woodwork and a missed PK in this one for the Hounds. And they keep saying, if we keep getting the chances, we're going to be all right. But they do have one of the lower conversion rates in the league.
There. Great move.
Spin by Dover to keep possession. A little 360 action, but Kerr's delivery was errant. And now Guerra getting out-battled by Vankiazil, but not legally. Restart for Charleston off the foul call. The Hounds have conceded possession in their last 5 matches, not tonight. They can't get the breakthrough, at least not to this point. Forbes misses on that pass. The through ball offline.
Yeah, not connecting at all with Nico Brett. Anybody looking at him, they're kind of like, maybe it's because they haven't been playing in a match situation for a couple of weeks as well. You know, that chemistry kind of fades a little bit.
Dan Lind hasn't had much to do here in this second half. Did make the save on Guerra's shot. Might have been off target, but that's the only time he's been called into action for a stop. Had to handle a corner kick too. Kerr, the layoff, and Forbes. Familiar sight for the Hounds. Possession just outside the attacking third. But Charleston, so structured. Tough to get inside against the defending of Mike Anhauser's team. Anhauser assisted by Dusty Hudock. Longtime former Battery player. And there's a giveaway from Brett. Too far for Vankiazil to pull in.
Yeah,
So Nico getting a little bit sloppy here.
Yes, he is. And I'm sure that Bob's probably getting on his case a little bit from the sideline.
Remember, Romeo Parks is available and healthy.
Yeah.
And he might be the shot of adrenaline this Hounds attack is looking for at the moment. It has slowed in recent minutes. And now Charleston can sense the finish line 20 minutes away. Getting a point if they can hold on. Maybe a handball against Anunga didn't go called. Forbes wanted it, didn't get it. Here's the newest member of the Battery on the pitch, Rittmeyer. And he gave it up. Another substitution's coming up for the visitors.
Yeah.
Number 20, Victor Mansoure of Sierra Leone is ready to go.
I think you're going to see the Hounds have a substitution in the next couple of minutes as well, just to
70th minute.
Get some fresh legs in there, Matt. So
Gordon Wild's out, so that's a lot of firepower hitting the bench for Charleston. Anhauser gives him a hand and a quick tip or two. before Wild heads off to the bench. So Mansoray is in. Signed at age 17 by the Seattle Sounders. He's been hanging out in the USL mostly as a pro. Played for FC Cincinnati and Seattle Sounders too last year. Split the season. Steel Army doing their best with the Iceland Viking style chants down to our right, if you recognize that.
Got a lot of people in the main stand too starting to do it, so hopefully they can get it going. And players love to hear that kind of thing when it really motivates them.
Starting to catch on in the stand in front of us. I'm Matt Geiger with Paul Child, bringing you the action from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Riverhounds are off to their best start ever. It's weird to call it a start at this point, in fact, as we've reached the midway point of the season. Kerr was dispossessed, and a handball is called here against Vanki Azil as he looked to turn it up. Thomas Vanki Azil, wearing number 25, played in the middle of the Hounds' back line when Joe Greenspan was out. Now he's in the midfield. Vanki Azil listed as a midfielder, but played a lot of center back for the University of Charleston, West Virginia last year. So you have the College of Charleston in South Carolina, University of Charleston in Charlie West, as you would call it. Here's Taylor Mueller, the battery captain. Wants to serve one over here for O'Brien Woodbine, but it's off his noggin and out.
It looks like it was an offside position.
Yes, it was actually. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a throw for Charleston, because I was pretty sure it was off Lee's head last, but it will be a free kick. And yes, the Steel Army is successful in getting most of the patrons in attendance fired up. Lee sculls it down, and now Lee has that clear. Bounce off his shin guard and out. 73rd minute. Do the Hounds have a goal? Does anybody have a goal? That's the question.
We'd love to see a goal.
Guerra bodying up against Adewale. And now Ray Lee joins the party. Pries it free, but Anunga will find it first for Charleston. He did have a man over there on the far flank in Jay Bolt, but it was taken away by the Hounds' Jordan Dover with the intercept. Jordan has quite a few of those on the season. Dover and Lee have done so much of that work on the wings. Getting the balls back. Oh. Lee unable to slide that one past Woodbine, though. Lee regathers.
Yeah, he did well there to get it back.
Ray Lee, the Hounds leader in crosses.
Nice ball into Francois here, but he's got two players on him again.
1-on-2. Yeah, he's in some trouble there, working in a phone booth, needs some help. Lee is there, slides it through, edge of the area, Thomas Vanki Azil.
And we go backwards.
Back to Forbes, who has to retreat, regrettably for him and the Hounds. And getting the pressure on was Mansoray, fresh into the game.
And Charleston doing really well there, getting everybody picked up. Nothing
the
open.
Cut from Kerr, it bounces free to Brett. And now Ray Lee scans the scene. Dusk has arrived at high mark. Vanki Azil, a driven ball. Bolt heads it clear. Greenspan's volley to no one in particular. Goal kick Charleston.
Just a safety kick there. Get it out of the back in danger.
It's been a different look for the Riverhounds, who are second to last in the USL in passing completion percentage. They're usually a team that tries a lot up the field, on the counters especially, doesn't complete a ton. Tonight it's been more of the short passes, the possession, the combinations. By the way, we have a score update. Tampa 2, Indy 1. So Tampa Bay trying to climb out of its position out of the Eastern Conference playoff zone. Indy finds itself in 6th. And Louisville's up 1-0 on Charlotte. Whistle here will bring O'Brien Woodbine back. And then he steps forward anyway, as we always see on that touch line on the throw-ins. Guerra, dangerous, left-footed crack, but Greenspan smothered it. Tula Guerra, the man to watch at the top of the formation. We talked about him in the open. He's had Charleston's best chance.
Charleston getting some space down that left-hand side now.
Bolt and Hackshaw are over there. Hackshaw. And a reset.
Switching the ball again, I'm sure. Boy, that's...
Taylor Mueller, native of the state of Washington, plays it in Dan Lynn's direction. He backs off as it bounds out of his box, and it's a goal kick with fine shielding work done by Toby Adewale.
Yeah, he did well there, and keeper kind of hesitant, kind of mixed communication, and then decided to check out of it, which was a good idea, and leave it to the defender.
We've seen the Riverhounds score late to pull a result at home. It was Toby Adewale getting a goal against Ottawa back in April. That's the latest winner for the Hounds this year. They also scored before the 80th minute at Louisville to win that one against the defending champs 1-0. Nothing terribly dramatic at the horn. Maybe this one will be a little different. Lee couldn't drag it with possession.
Yeah, they look up. We get possession of the ball, and then we look up, and there's just a lot of white shirts in there, nowhere to go. And we've got to have people creating, doing diagonal runs and trying to open things up and get that one step on their defenders, and maybe a through ball from Kerr like here.
Well, Kerr has some space now. There is the through ball to Francois. Doubling back and a little indecisive there with Woodbine getting in there. And now Francois is reaching for his right boot. It appears just the shoe was dislodged, no injury. And in fact, a foul was called against Pittsburgh in that region.
I think it was against Francois there.
Had to have been. He was the only man close enough. Well, the Riverhounds showed some resilience before the break. They had to play past midnight on the 4th of July to beat North Carolina FC. They went on the road, closed that one down against Ottawa, one of the longer trips on the USL schedule.
Goalkeeper kicking this ball out a few times now out to the left. Kerr, nice turn. Oh.
Kevin Kerr wanting to slice and dice there, and there was a small window to find Brett, but unable to do so was Kevin Kerr.
And still chasing to try and win the ball back, which you know he does.
Here's a takeaway.
There's a great takeaway.
Woodbine was stripped by Ray Lee. Maybe a chance here for Pittsburgh. Into Brett!
Oh, what a save again!
Kuzminski has been stellar.
Brett there just kind of didn't get much power on that ball, but keeper did great with his left arm, and if he needed some more power on it, it might have slipped by him. But as you can see here,
twice the left paw has been all that separated the Hounds from the first goal.
Yeah, really.
And an attempted, I don't want to call it a change up, but you're just playing for placement there if you're Brett. But as you said, there wasn't enough speed on it to get it past Kuzminski.
And it's strong left arm. I mean, he's got a strong left hand there, and he keeps it out of there. But if he'd got a little bit more power, it might have squeezed by.
3 big saves for Kuzminski, but the Hounds are still at it. Brett's attempted play was off the leg of Hackshaw, and right back in the possession of the battery in the 79th minute. But business is picking up now suddenly for Pittsburgh. Another turnover as Vankiazil takes it away from Guerra.
Yeah, that's a good ball.
A combination ball. Here comes Forbes off the give from Dover. Now Kerr's cross, right in! Oh, and I don't think Francois saw it until it got past Brett's head, and so he couldn't handle it.
I think it was Brett that should have put his head on it, and he didn't. I think you're going to see a change up right here now. And Francois was taken by surprise.
That's at least my suspicion. Either Francois didn't see the cross, or he was expecting Brett to take it. Yes, he was. Brett just let it go.
Yeah.
He could have leapt and gotten it, it appears. A third substitution for Mike Anhauser, so he's emptying the bench now. In comes Vincenzo Candela from Colombia. And out is, I believe, O'Brien Woodbine. It is. 80th minute sub.
And I think you're going to see Parks come in for sure, and I'm guessing it's going to be for Nico Brett. And we've got another player, and I just can't see his number at the moment.
Odd game for Brett, hasn't it been? Because he's been there for chances, but there have been some disconnects, some misconnections, and maybe a mishit or two when it comes to finishing time.
You know what, Matt? That's where it comes when you have a layoff. You know what I mean? You're not used to, you don't have that extra week in between games, and sometimes you get a little bit stale, and that's a good cross.
Here's another cross. Kerr was there trying to take that one from Kenardo Forbes, who has ranged into that right corner a couple of times now. He's stretching his legs, trying to make something happen, anything happen for the Hounds here at home. Forbes and now Francois swarmed there in the middle. Bunky Azil. 2 subs are coming in for Pittsburgh, by the way. Lee's cross, looking for Brett. It was too low, and then Forbes overran it.
The referee wasn't even looking at it. He had his back to it, so he never saw it.
Correct. Probably a foul, but uncalled.
Well, you have linesmen with headsets.
So here come the Hounds subs. Banjo is in for Kevin Kerr. K. Banjo, second-year Riverhound, 25-year-old. And Romeo Parks, as we suspected, also here in the 81st minute. He will replace Nico Brett. Parks 3 goals on the year. Banjo hasn't seen much action, just 3 appearances. He was hurt earlier in the season and has never really found his way into the rotation. Well, plenty of good work from both Brett and Kerr. And Bob Lilly wanted to make sure he gave Kerr his kudos before he headed to the bench. And it's still a chat between Lilly and Brett right now.
You know, Kerr never likes to come off the field, so, you know, he's kind of angry as well as realizing that probably that we need a change up to make things happen.
Well, there's a beautiful touch from Forbes to pull the ball away, and K. Banjo, fresh legs, couldn't get it through. He had Francois on left wing. And the Hounds are creating some turnovers now in that midfield area. Here's another one. Adewale, Francois couldn't duck around the man, and Adewale took a bump here away from my field of vision, right in the midfield line.
Getting a yellow card too.
It will be a card. Our first booking of the night goes to Guerra. I apologize, I didn't get a glance at it. I didn't see the nature of the foul, but Adewale is rising to his feet.
I think he was making a run and he just got blocked, you know, like an obstruction. Just got in front of him and made it impossible for him to stop and get around it.
Had to have been rather blatant for the yellow card, too. Forbes standing over it for the restart. Again, Banjo and Parks are into the match. K. Banjo, another member of the state of, or another native of the state of Maryland on this Hounds team, along with Adewale. Both with heritage in Africa. Close heritage, in fact. They're first-generation Americans. All the way on far wing is Dover. Slides it through. Parks! Deflected shot, and it bounces in on Kuzminski.
Double deflection there, I think it was. I think it hit Bolt and Hackshaw.
We're going to take a look at the foul on Atula Guerra. We do have a replay from our camera close to the field. Here's Adewale after he let the ball go. A forearm up high, and looked like it caught Adewale in the side of the head.
He's lucky he didn't get a red card for that, to be honest with you, because any of that kind of play anymore is usually called straight away.
Right, especially after the ball is
After the
played.
ball's gone, he didn't even have the ball.
It wasn't even an attempt to win the ball. Parks tried that flick on, as he often does. Didn't work out for him, but the Hounds still get the ball. And Parks nudges it through. Francois turns on the speed. K. Banjo
looking
off on far side. This is Dover. Couldn't get it through, but it'll be a corner kick. And a hard-won corner kick at that. But there you see, I mentioned dusk is falling, and that's the Fort Pitt Bridge that you see behind the field. I haven't had a chance to come out to Highmark Stadium. This is the view you get in addition to some pretty fun soccer here this season. Francois near post cross, belted out by Bolt.
Francois's got to do better with that on the corner kicks. You know, it's late in the game. We're into the 85th minute. When you get those opportunities, Mac, you can't let them go. And here he goes again. And this
cross is wild. And Bunky Azil throws his hands in the air. Francois is going to give you the work rate, no doubt. But again, from time to time, maybe lets go of the ball too soon. Maybe doesn't fully consider the options there. That time a little hasty, as we are going to have probably a couple of minutes of stoppage time in addition to 5 minutes left here in regulation.
And as you said earlier, he's a young guy and he's getting better and better with every game. And as I said, sometimes this long layoff of 2 weeks can affect you a little bit. Looked great in the first half, as if the Hounds had a lot of tremendous amount of pressure and possession. And after that penalty miss, it's kind of like it's sucked it all out of them. So Charleston now just kind of looking
well, they're
to
trying to run out the clock a little bit, but they give it away.
Yeah,
Dover with the intercept. Here comes Kay Banjo. Banjo right through. It's off a Charleston leg, and another corner kick on the way.
Yeah, they got to take these quick now.
Nico Rittmeyer defended against Parks, but couldn't prevent the corner. Will there be a dramatic finish?
Well, Parks is still out at the corner, and he should be in the middle. I mean,
yeah, he's not going to take the corner.
I know. Why is he taking so much time? He's got to realize there's only 4 minutes left in regulation time.
Francois strong leg, bounces over to Adewale. He's scored in a situation like this before.
Boy,
he puts it back over the goal, and that's a missed kick.
Out of bounds.
Charleston wanted an offside call, but there was none forthcoming. They tried to push out, as you often see, when the ball is cleared for the first time. Hackshaw, Neville Hackshaw, drives it down the left wing side. This is Mansouré. Victor Mansouré has it stolen by Vanki Azil, and no, it is out over the touchline, says the assistant referee. I thought Vanki Azil might have gotten away with one. Well, we've had the boats, we've had the train now, we have the sunset. Plenty of visual distraction away from the pitch tonight. Not that there hasn't been a lot to watch. It's been a bit of an exercise in frustration on the offensive end, though, for the Hounds.
No.
88th minute now. And Charleston, they're feeling pretty good about this. They'll gladly take a point if they can get it. Here's Rittmeyer against Lee. Rittmeyer got a last touch. Here's a chance now, and a goal!
Oh, dear.
It's Guerra in the 88th minute.
Boy.
And Angelo Kelly with the cross made it happen. What a shocker at Highmark Stadium. The Battery lead at 1-0.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think they're complaining about an offside there, but I'm going to have a look at it again, and I think the fans are booing that because they think it was offside as well.
It was also close to being out, but one last touch there by Rittmeyer made the difference, and there it was. The Hounds were scrambling as they expected that to be corralled by a friendly in the corner. Roberts the closest man to try to help Dan Lind out. And could we be seeing our first heartbreak at Highmark of the season? It's close. And now the Hounds need one to get a point out of this thing.
Yes, they do, and they've got to go.
Serve right in, and there's Joe Greenspan way up. You can tell it's desperation time.
Yeah, pressure.
Another corner for Pittsburgh.
Bob Lilly telling them all to get in there and create some havoc, and hopefully can come away with a goal similar to Charleston's.
Well, here we go now. Francois tries again. He's had plenty of practice in this second half, but Hackshaw got in the way. Dover lets it roll out. We still haven't reached stoppage time, but might as well be there. Kay Banjo juggling just a moment ago. The Riverhounds are looking close to breaking through. Down to our left, but it's Banjo right through, giving it to Parks, and it's tapped off his foot.
Corner kick again.
Another corner. That was a slow call, was it not? Wasn't sure if the Hounds were going to get it.
Yeah, me either.
But they do. Kay Banjo's shown a nice touch here, by the way. We've barely seen him play this season.
Well, time's running out. They've really got to kind of create as many chances as they can here in the final minutes.
1-0 Charleston. Dover getting it in. And the Hounds are about to be called for a foul. I thought I saw a jersey stretch. And it might have been Parks. It might have been Vanki Azil. 2 minutes added on. Atula Guerra, his 11th goal of the season to tie him for the league lead, has Charleston up 1-0. And a yellow card is out for referee Eric Tattersall. He gives it to Vanki Azil, who was ruled to have committed that foul in the box.
I think he's wondering why, but must have done something.
The Hounds have lost just once all season. It was 1-0 to Nashville right here on May 30th. That was also a second half goal, but not as late as this one. Dan Lind has that one get away from him, but makes the best of it. 2-minute stoppage. So we're in the 91st minute, if you will. Lee, does he have anything left? He's been pushing hard all match. Doesn't look like Bob Lilly is going to any more substitutions. Not really that much time. Greenspan was bumped away from the path of that cross from Forbes. And a goal kick for Charleston will allow the Battery to kill some clock. What a turn of events here, late. And Charleston showed a few signs here in the second half, a little bit better than the first half. But a goal against the run of play, no doubt. And again, a missed goal kick from Kuzminski, sending it out. That gives the Hounds one chance here, maybe. Running on into the corner was Forbes, and it's a goal kick. That's just the second goal against the Riverhounds all season in USL play at home.
Yeah, Charlotte not going to be in too much of a rush here, and less than 40 seconds left.
You'd have to imagine the Hounds might get one more push here from referee Tattersall before he blows the thing dead. And a throw in for Charleston.
Yeah, nobody's going to take it.
They're going to take their sweet time. Charleston would move ahead of Pittsburgh with a victory here. That's the only way they could move ahead of Pittsburgh, was with all 3 points. That put them at 35 and second place in the East. Would be a shame for the Hounds, but it's not over yet. They'll have to be clinical here to work it up the pitch quickly, or get a break. Greenspan had that one bounce over his head. He's been playing toward the top of the formation. Kuzminski runs out to gobble it. And we're getting close
I think he's,
to the death of this game. Kuzminski's throw out to Bolt. He's been a stalwart on that left wing. A bouncing ball. It's going to be tough for Pittsburgh now as it's in the corner. Charleston just wants to run away and hide. And they might be able to. There it is. Full time from Pittsburgh. The Charleston Battery come in here and pull out a 1-0 win. Disappointing for the fans in attendance here. No happy ending for Pittsburgh for the first time in 3 matches. Their first loss since May the 30th. So a 6-match unbeaten streak dies. And what do we have here? At the end of the game, Thomas Vankiazil and Atula Guerra pushing a bit after the final whistle. Hugh Roberts gets in the way. One of our camera folks is right there on top of it too. Charleston extends its unbeaten run to 7 matches, and the Battery are in second place. They continue their rise up the standings. And Paul, like I said, against the run of play, but that's the chance you take when you don't bury your chances.
Oh yeah, we had plenty of chances too. You know, you've got to put them away and give the goalkeeper credit. He kept them in the game 3 times actually. One on a penalty kick, one on a left-handed save at the beginning that he pushed off the post, and then another left-handed save that he made on I think it was Francois over here, and they did a great job, and the keeper kept them in the game, and that's what happens sometimes. You keep in the game, and that's all you hope for, is that one opportunity, and a bit of lackadaisicalness of the Hounds in the corner, and get on the end of it.
Well, we'll look at those highlights in just a little bit, but yes, Joe Kuzminski will not earn a better clean sheet this season. He was the difference. He's my player of the game, at least.
Yeah,
in this
sure.
one, we'll talk further on that, though. Coming back soon in just a moment on ESPN+.
It's so unfair. You just feel stripped of being a woman, not being able to have a child. Or they had told me that I can't have kids naturally. It was just like waterworks.
Yeah, what's it like being pregnant?
But it's an amazing thing to know that I don't have all of the things to make a baby, but I still made this baby.
I mean, it really is a miracle.
Seriously.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with a fertility expert at Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
It's a new era unleashed at Highmark Stadium, and the Riverhounds are battling for first place in the Eastern Conference. It's Faith and Family Night, presented to you by Cornerstone TV and K-Love, when the Richmond Kickers come to town August 1st for a special Wednesday matchup with a 7 p.m. kickoff.
Nice touch, Parks.
Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Purchase your tickets at riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
Well, a shocker at Highmark Stadium, heartbreak at Highmark for the Riverhounds. It's happened in the past, but not this season so far. It's been a charmed year so far for the Riverhounds under Bob Lilly, but Charleston changes that script, at least on one night, here with the 1-0 victory at Tullagara. Who else on the doorstep with the headed finish to deliver the victory? I'm Matt Geica along with Paul Child, wrapping this one up. You see the Steel Army disappointed, but waiting to greet the Hounds. Let's go to those highlights after 90 minutes complete. And just one goal on the board, like we mentioned, for the visitors, one of the hottest teams in USL. All the way back in the first half, well, we'll take a look at some glorious opportunities for Pittsburgh. Crossbar for Francois, and you'll see him later, in fact, but here's a good gander at that from behind the goal.
Yeah, that was great shot, just couldn't get it down. This was a
second half. There you see the handball committed by Leland Archer. Charleston back.
Penalty kick, but the
Brett
strike
did
on
not
the ball.
strike it well, yeah.
I'm surprised a little bit because Curry's usually the person that takes those penalty kicks, and obviously with Nico Brett being the top goal scorer, you want him to get up there and think he's just going to put it away. But again, there, another good shot by Charleston, and keeper having to be on his toes right there, and just enough. I don't know if he got a touch on that. It sort of kind of looked like he may have, but he's telling his players to wake up, and we got a little bit casual right after that penalty kick.
But
this was a
push
great
back.
ball
yeah,
too.
here's, remember this chance too.
Yeah, Nico, I mean, he kind of hits the ball, but not with vengeance, you know. You kind of like really want to, I know he was stretching for it, and obviously, as I say, it looks easy from up here, but you think he would have got more power on it, he might have beat the keeper, but the keeper did great again, keeping them in the game right till this moment. And
88th minute.
Yeah, the only thing I can think there that the player wasn't offside was the defender was still on the field.
Right, Ray Lee was actually in the corner. I think he might have been beyond the byline, in fact, so he has to be onside.
Yeah.
By definition there.
Yeah.
And, well, once three Hounds get beat out of the corner, then you know they're in trouble, and
Yeah, really.
Lee had it tapped away from him. Nico Rittmeyer is not going to get an assist on that, but if we were playing hockey, that'd be the second assist. He should definitely get something for creating that out of almost literally nothing. So there you see your final stats. 11 shots for the Riverhounds. Fine work against a good defensive squad, but nothing behind. Joe Kuzminski, who gets the clean sheet. Possession in favor of Pittsburgh. Ironic, they win that battle for the first time since the start of June against Richmond, but they lose the game. So not enough quality. Generated plenty, but again, that's been the bugaboo for the Hounds this year. They haven't scored as much as you think they should.
Yeah, no, the finishing has got to come on, and as I say, I think sometimes you get kind of lethargic, you know, because you've had a couple of weeks off, and then when you come back onto the playing a real match, things aren't quite going right, and it kind of like makes it even worse, Matt. And I think you saw that tonight, and hopefully that this will be a good lesson for them, you know.
Well, they'll have to take that as a lesson, as they'll be back at it next week at North Carolina. As for Charleston, riding the high now, the Battery in second place. They'll be hosting Richmond Kickers next week. You can catch that, of course, on ESPN Plus and all the usual avenues down there in beautiful Charlie's South. As for Pittsburgh, on the road, as I said, in the Research Triangle. They'll go south for the second time this year, or third time this year, pardon me. They'll play at North Carolina FC, a rematch of the match that finished 2-0 in favor of Pittsburgh here on the 4th of July. So there you see the Hounds getting over to say thanks to the Steel Army, who have hung around A rare result for Pittsburgh, a rare setback for Pittsburgh anywhere, let alone here at home, where they have conceded just twice all season long. So final thought, Paul Child, before we go.
Well, as I say, all you can do is go away from this one, Matt, and you just take it as a lesson and realize that every game is so important and you've got to come with vengeance right the way through it. And it just kind of was a shame that they couldn't capitalize on some of their chances, because they by far had the best chances.
Well, there you see it. Charleston pulling 3 points out of this one. Thank you so much for joining us on ESPN Plus tonight. We mentioned all the folks watching in Charleston. You probably had a good time at the end of that one. So we're glad you joined us here on this beautiful Saturday evening in Pittsburgh. For Brian Duvall down in Vista, for Paul Child, this is Matt Geica saying good night from Highmark Stadium. We'll catch you in 2 weeks' time for our next home broadcast here at Highmark Stadium.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.